The United Nations General Assembly was electrified as Bilawal Bhutto Zardari took the podium. The hall was packed and the atmosphere was tense. Heads of states, diplomats and international observers waited in anticipation. Bhutto, Pakistan's young and charismatic foreign minister, was about to deliver a speech that would send shockwaves across the globe. His voice was steady, but the words were sharp, cutting through the diplomatic niceties. Bhutto was there to call out Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He branded Modi as the butcher of Kashmir, a phrase that reverberated around the room. The audience was stunned and the media quickly caught on. Bhutto's speech was a mix of passion and precision. He detailed the atrocities in Kashmir, painting a grim picture that demanded international attention. The speech was not just an attack on Modi, but a call to action for the global community. Bhutto was demanding justice, and he was not going to be ignored. Bhutto's speech was filled with blistering critiques. He left no stone unturned in his condemnation of Modi. "The butcher of Kashmir is back," he declared, his voice echoing through the hall. He accused Modi of orchestrating a campaign of violence and repression in Kashmir. Bhutto's words were harsh, but they reflected the deep-seated anger and frustration felt by many in Pakistan and beyond. He highlighted specific incidents that painted a damning picture of Modi's policies. Bhutto spoke of mass arrests, enforced disappearances, and extrajudicial killings. He cited reports from human rights organizations that documented these abuses. His speech was backed by evidence, making it hard to dismiss as mere rhetoric. "How can the world accept a man with so much blood on his hands?" Bhutto asked. It was a rhetorical question, but it underscored the gravity of his accusations. Bhutto also drew attention to the impact of Modi's actions on the people of Kashmir. His words were a stark reminder of the human cost of political decisions. To understand Bhutto's criticism, one must look at Modi's past. Modi's political career has been marred by controversy, particularly his role in the 2002 Gujarat riots. As the chief minister of Gujarat at the time, Modi was accused of allowing, if not encouraging, the violence that led to the deaths of nearly 1,000 people, mostly Muslims. This dark chapter has haunted Modi throughout his career. The situation in Kashmir has only added to Modi's controversial legacy. Since taking office as Prime Minister in 2014, Modi's government has taken a hardline stance on Kashmir. In August 2019, he revoked Article 370 of the Indian Constitution, which granted special autonomy to the region. This move was met with widespread protests and a heavy-handed response from the government. Under Modi's leadership, Kashmir has seen increased militarization. Reports of human rights abuses have become more frequent. Bhutto's speech at the UN was a direct challenge to this narrative, urging the world to take a stand against what he described as state-sponsored terrorism. Bhutto made a provocative comparison in his speech, likening Modi to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He argued that both leaders have pursued policies that oppress minority populations and violate human rights. This comparison was not just about their actions, but also about the broader geopolitical implications. Netanyahu's policies towards the Palestinians have long been a subject of international debate. Bhutto drew parallels between these policies and Modi's approach to Kashmir. He suggested that both leaders use security concerns as a pretext for repressive measures. Bhutto argued that both leaders have exploited nationalist sentiments to justify their actions. He pointed out that this has led to increased polarization and violence in their respective regions. The implication was clear: the international community should not turn a blind eye to these actions. Bhutto's comparison was also a call for solidarity. By linking these two issues, Bhutto aimed to build a broader coalition of support for human rights. Kashmir has long been a flashpoint for human rights violations. The region has been the site of a protracted conflict between India and Pakistan, with devastating consequences for its inhabitants. Bhutto's speech at the United Nations highlighted these issues, bringing them to the forefront of international discourse. The revocation of Article 370 in 2019 marked a turning point. Since then, reports of human rights abuses have increased. The Indian government's actions have included mass detentions, communication blackouts, and restrictions on freedom of movement. Bhutto's speech drew attention to the use of excessive force by Indian security forces. He cited instances of torture, extrajudicial killings, and the use of pellet guns, which have caused widespread injuries and blindness among civilians. These actions have been documented by human rights organizations, adding credibility to Bhutto's claims. Bhutto's speech was a call to the international community to recognize these similarities and to take action to protect human rights. Bilawal Bhutto Zardari's rise in politics has been meteoric. Born into a storied political family, Bhutto has always been in the public eye. His political journey began after his mother's assassination in 2007. He took over the Pakistan People's Party, focusing on youth and modernization. On the international stage, Bhutto is a voice for Pakistan. He addresses issues like terrorism and human rights with clarity and conviction. Bhutto's speech at the United Nations has significant implications for India-Pakistan relations. His strong condemnation of Modi and the Indian government's actions in Kashmir is likely to exacerbate tensions between the two countries. The speech has already sparked a war of words, with Indian officials dismissing Bhutto's accusations as baseless. The international community's response will be crucial in shaping the trajectory of this conflict. Bhutto's speech was a call to action, urging global leaders to take a stand against human rights abuses. If the international community heeds this call, it could lead to increased pressure on India to change its policies in Kashmir. However, if the response is muted, it may embolden the Indian government to continue its current approach. Bhutto's comparison of Modi to Netanyahu highlights the interconnectedness of human rights struggles around the world. This approach could lead to greater international solidarity and cooperation on human rights issues. Bhutto's speech at the United Nations was a bold move, and its impact will be felt in the corridors of power around the world. The international community's response to Kashmir will test its commitment to human rights. Bhutto's speech at the UN has put the spotlight on the global response. The question now is whether the world will take meaningful steps to address the crisis. Diplomatic pressure, economic sanctions, and international legal mechanisms can hold the Indian government accountable. These actions require political will and a unified approach. The international community must prioritize human rights over political and economic interests. A growing number of countries have expressed concern about Kashmir, and there have been calls for an independent investigation into human rights abuses. Bhutto's speech has galvanized support from human rights advocates around the world. The world must stand with the people of Kashmir and take concrete steps to end their suffering.